but you're brought in because of your individuality. So to compare yourself is almost, and no offence, but silly.
Haydn Watts is an actor from Essex. Since graduating Italia Conti in 2023, he has worked on a variety of different mediums within the industry.
If it was I would look out for auditions that were specifically monologue based, because I didn't want to have to do a duologue with my mum.
His stage credits include the ongoing production of Last Goal Wins, debuting at the Union Theatre and Theatre Peckham, and Phalanx at the Lion and Unicorn. Haydn will also be appearing at Theatre Greenwich in January with the production of Flashbang.
So the avenue I went down that wasn't Instagram or Spotlight was the genuine meeting one person who could then try and introduce me to someone else. It's the networking side of it.
His film credits include award-winning short film Contact Hours. Haydn has just appeared on BBC Radio 4's The Truth About Phyllis Twigg. Haydn Watts, welcome to the Actors Actuality podcast. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. How are you both?
Yeah, we're good. How are you, Samuel?
Very good, thank you. Very good, yeah.
We'll dive straight in. We wanted to start with the transition from drama school to graduate life. Could you tell our listeners how you stay away from the trap of just going to work, coming back and repeat as a graduated actor?
Yeah, getting stuck in straight away. It's a difficult question because when I first graduated, I was stuck in that. The plan after graduated life for almost every graduated actor is the move to London. And then you're met with like the chicken and the egg scenario, which is like, you can't get a job until you live in London, but you can't move to London unless you've got a job, which was very challenging. So then I moved back home, which was a blessing in disguise because it meant I got to save money. But living in Essex isn't the best of blessings, but it's only an hour away from London. So I meant I could get a job and I could commute, but that then meant that an 8-hour shift was then a 12-hour day because it was 2 hours travel, 2 hours travel back. So it meant that I was stuck in this cycle of wake up, drive to work, drive home, sleep, repeat. So for a couple of months after graduating, I did lose sight of this dream and the possibility of it being real because I was so stuck. And the thing is with graduating as well, is it's different for everyone in terms of, I didn't want to leave because I hadn't been out of education, whereas some of my friends were so excited just to leave and get it over and done with. But no matter what your feeling was before, it was still such a strange sensation graduating, regardless of your opinion of how it felt. So for me, I struggled at first. And I think I was just trying to understand what it meant to be an adult and to live back under my parents' rule again. And then to have to audition and want to make it as an actor at the same time. When auditioning and looking for roles to audition for, I thought, and what I was always told is the spotlights. You follow every casting director you can on Twitter. All of these things that I still wasn't 100% sure how to use. And then because I was living at home, if it was I would look out for auditions that were specifically monologue based because I didn't want to have to do a duologue with my mum. I didn't like the apps where you can record yourself saying the line, then you reply to it. And if I wanted to act with one of my drama school friends, I'd have to travel to London and then add that on to my 12-hour day. So I kind of limit myself to what I was looking for and how I was looking for it. Then I found like an advert on Instagram, like, you know, when someone posts something on their page. And that's when I realized that I was being too arrogant in my view. Like I was on Spotlight looking for the next job that's going to pay my rent and just, I'll be acting straight away. I'll get out of hospitality. I wasn't being very humble in my approach to wanting to get there. So I saw an Instagram ad and it was just like someone has obviously written something up on Word, put on a green background, posted on their Instagram, like a character description. I thought, you know what, sod it. Why not? Like something to go for. It's a reason to act again. And it was a football play about an Arsenal player. And I like football and I'm an Arsenal fan. So I thought, why not? I'll give it a go. So I auditioned. It was a monologue. Great. Didn't have to get my mum to record with me. And then I luckily got the next round. It was another monologue. Thank God. And then got the part, and I was like, okay, great. And then I was meeting all these people who are in similar situations to me, some people who had never acted before, some people who had just graduated drama school. And it was a very humbling experience because I was going into this quite arrogant, thinking like, I've just graduated drama school and I'm having to, not in an arrogant or an ego way, but I didn't think I was too good for it, especially when working with them and seeing the talent that was there. I knew for a fact I wasn't, but just going into it because I'd been taught that I have to get my jobs through Spotlight, and because I'd gone through this other avenue, I was just a bit apprehensive, which definitely like narrowed my view of it all. Is that answering the question?
It is, yeah. I think it's really interesting what you're saying about, again, not you were saying that not in an arrogant way, but we have this sort of vision of when you graduate drama school, especially when you're in first and second year, that it's all going to be like roses and daisies and you're going to book an incredible job. And it's just, the likelihood is it's not the reality. And we had, I think it was John who said this in season 1, if you can do one creative thing in your first year out and you have a roof over your head and you feed yourself, that's a successful year.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, unfortunately, I was in this first year, second year, wanting acting to pay the bills mindset where I wasn't actually considering all the things that I was lucky for, and like I was taking a lot of things for granted. When really that first job that I found on Instagram has given me every single thing up to now. 2 years later, and I finally signed with an agent, and that agent, she's an assistant agent for the agency I'm with, and she was the casting director on that first Instagram ad that I auditioned for 3 years out of drama school. And I just kept in contact with her. She then wrote a film that she asked me to be in, which was really cool. And it was just this really small connection that all of a sudden she's completely supported me and had my back and got me a step further in the industry from where I was, which was incredible.
It just shows that making those connections and networking is just incredibly
100%.
important. So some people leave drama school with an agent, some people don't. You didn't leave drama school with an agent. What avenues did you use to look for acting work? You talked about Instagram. What else did you do to try and sustain yourself creatively and look for acting jobs?
Yeah, I mean, it was mainly Instagram. Honestly, it was that one job on Instagram. It wasn't like I was hunting or doing it. It kind of just came up on my feed and did it. I felt, to be honest, a lot of it was luck. Right place, right time. I refreshed my page at the right point. But then obviously not having an agent meant that was my only thing. So I had to make the most of it. I had to meet every single person that was responsible for the casting process, everyone that helped, from like the dramaturgs to the writer themselves, all the directors. I had to meet everyone, from the people that even read the script once and just gave a bit of feedback because it's their friend that wrote it. Because I knew that for me to get anywhere, it had to be through the people I met, not from what I see. Because I'm not proactive enough, which is horrible to say, but I'm not good at being proactive and finding these jobs and spending hours a day hunting for these things on all sorts of platforms. It was the meeting people that was important. So I knew that if I could get myself in front of someone, I'd find a way that I'd always leave with their email or their number or their Instagram, and then I'd chase them up, or I'd then follow the things they're doing. And if they're then doing another creative thing, I'll make sure I'm there to watch it. And I don't really enjoy watching theatre. Okay. It sounds really strange because I love being in theatre, but I can switch off really quick. And watching a play, I find really difficult. But I'd go watch plays just to kind of support and have a reason to talk to these people again. It's very selfish now I look at it. But yeah, so the avenue I went down that wasn't Instagram or Spotlight was the genuine meeting one person who could then try and introduce me to someone else. It's the networking side of it, which is probably the hardest part of it. But it's fun.
I think the word networking always sends a shiver down my spine. the thought of having to be social. Is there something in particular you've learned in the last 2 years from networking, or is there a particular avenue you explore when you're networking with someone?
Absolutely. It sounds really strange, but so my technique when networking, and I know we'll go into this later, like Fringe stuff, but all like scratch nights that I've done, all of that is networking. Yes, I'm performing, but it's networking. And it's always the same small talk. You come out, you chat, you buy a beer at the bar, and it's, oh, which piece did you write? Or, oh, well done, you were really great. Oh, thank you for watching. Who do you know in the cast? Like these really small, awkward conversations. You're never going to get to know someone. It's just that passing of them saying well done, you saying thank you. But my approach is I like to pretend like they're a friend I haven't seen in a really long time, to the point where we've got so much to catch up on. So I'm not going up and being like, hi, how are you? I'm Haydn. It's like, oh, hi, how are you? Yeah, I'm Haydn. Just in case you forgot. Obviously, you don't say that, but just like, I'm Haydn. And then, oh, so what are you doing lately? And then the conversation becomes a lot more, you become a lot more personable. The conversation becomes a lot more personal because you're wanting to like catch up with them, in essence. It sounds really odd, but seriously, try it. Like, it works, I promise.
That's a great technique.
Yeah,
I'm
that's
going to
good.
use that. I
Yeah.
feel like it's a good way of bypassing that. Because I think networking can, in a way, like you say, it can feel a bit awkward, and it's like there's almost this pressure to introduce yourself and explain who you are and why you're talking to them, and there's a name tag if you forget, and like there's all the awkwardness. Whereas that's what you mean. If it's just like being personal, being like, I'm interested to catch up with who you are and what's going on, you'll naturally form those connections. And yeah, that's really useful. Thank you. Hello, we hope you're enjoying today's episode of the Actors Actuality podcast. We just wanted to take a quick moment to talk to you about the Actors Actuality newsletter.
The Actors Actuality newsletter comes out twice a week, Monday and Friday. Subscribe below. Moving on to the mentality of being an actor, we want to talk about comparison. Me personally, it's something I've struggled with a lot. Have you ever struggled with it in your third year since graduating, comparing yourself to others, what they're doing?
I mean, I'd be lying if I said no. I think it's a very normal thing. We've all come from being these big fishes in small ponds to being like an average-sized fish in a huge sea of great actors, to them being thrown out into the industry, which is even bigger. So your ego does get bruised and gets smaller as you go. Third year, yeah, there was a lot of comparison, but I felt quite lucky to know that we're in a professional environment. We've been given this opportunity to train at this drama school because of who we are. They're not going to hire 6 of us, and so we can't compare ourselves high. They're not going to bring some of us in that are the same, because then we will compare, because we've got something to compare to. But you're brought in because of your individuality. So to compare yourself is almost, and no offense, but silly. There's the quote like, this quote's really not relevant now I say it, but I'm just going to finish it for sake of starting it. If you judge a goldfish on its ability to climb a tree, then it's always going to live its life thinking it's stupid. Now, I don't know why that came to mind now I say it, but it's almost like you're comparing yourself to things that are just uncomparable. Drama school as well is, and this is something that I realized throughout, is that when we get cast in certain roles, we all think like, I could have done that, or they could have swapped, or I would have done it like this, I would have cast it like this. And all this comparison of to how you may think you'd have done it better, or you may think that this person could have done it better, and it actually beats you down even more, because it's like, why have I been given this when it's clearly their role? But drama school is all about the challenge, because in the industry, you're not going to get cast as that, which is why you're getting cast as that. So when I'd sit and compare myself as to why this person was having this success, or I was not getting these things, it's not because I wasn't right for it. It's because they thought that's the best way to showcase all of it. Does that make sense?
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
same, yeah.
I always think, I don't know who said this to me, but it's not that I'm jealous of someone. It's not that I'm not happy for them. I just wish that was me. And I feel like there's a real taboo about being like envious or jealous. And it, like you said at the start, it's completely normal. And I think if we like address it and just be like, yeah, I'm feeling like pretty jealous feels like such a pejorative word in this sense, but I think it's so normal to feel a little bit of jealousy. And I think if we talk about it, especially in this industry, it really gets rid of the taboo and makes it so much more normal.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. It's such a normal feeling, and in a way, it's healthy to feel jealous because it shows that you want it.
Yeah.
It shows that you care. When I did first graduate and I had those 2 years of being agentless, and I had friends that had agents were getting auditions through, and I was helping them with these auditions, and I was there knowing that almost like if I'd had an agent, I'd have been part for this, or I could have actually done this part really well, and that was difficult because then it was like, what is it I'm missing to not be in the position that they're in? But I do think it's all about time as well. Like it will just fall into place, and it's the most unhelpful thing to hear because it's like, yeah, great, but when is my time? But like it will just work out. And if you are doing these things of like networking and meeting people and doing these things where you're sitting down, you're looking at Instagram, you're popping up, you're sending off an audition for something that was written by someone that like just anything and everything, in time, it will all just piece together.
I think what's for you won't go by you, and I think it's just about trying to be consistent, trying to be productive, and doing what you can and controlling what you can control. And I think it was Gabby who said in season 1, like, stay in your own lane. Like, obviously be aware of everyone else, but like everyone's running a different race, everyone's doing on a different path, and it doesn't mean you're behind or ahead of anyone else. You're just doing different things. And I think that's what's quite hard, is because in drama school you're doing the same thing all the time and like the same projects and working together all the time. And then you come out and you're all doing completely different stuff. But that's okay, and that's kind of the way it is. I think it's just learning to accept that. I think. Yeah.
I found comparison way harder during drama school than I have. Obviously, I've only graduated a few months, but since I found myself always comparing. Because, like you said, like even in first, you do the same characters, the same scenes. It's so hard to not compare yourself.
Yeah, I know. This is. I'm not meant to be asking you questions, but what comparison did you feel? Why did you feel this comparison? Like,
yeah, for me, it was a simple like acting thing. Like, for example, first year Chekhov, for example, people be double cast, and you're constantly thinking, oh, is everyone else thinking that they're better? Yeah. It's not a case of that, like the insecurity comes from within. It's not like, oh, I'm worried that I'm not good enough. It's a thing of like, what are other people thinking? That's always been the issue for me.
Yeah, definitely. And now that you say that, for one of the hardest parts of comparison for me was showcase. When we were doing all like your showcase stuff and like you're looking for your monologues, the monologue I found was a beautiful monologue. Not performing, like the writing was beautiful, and I was so like I really, really wanted to do it, but I never stopped to think whether it was right for me, good for my casting, whatever. And then when watching everyone else and when chatting to all of them, everyone had been so specific and so spot on with their casting that I'd completely missed the mark. So I knew that before I got on the stage at the Garrick Theatre, that this monologue was not going to get me, and that, like, I was not going to gain what I wanted to gain from doing this monologue in front of all these people. I felt like I shot myself in the foot because I'm performing on the Garrick, right, which is incredible, in front of all these people, in front of all these professionals. And I've decided to do this monologue because I like the writing of it, not actually sitting down and thinking, yeah, that is not good for me. And it was that comparison from seeing from like the way that everyone else would speak about their love for their monologue and their connection for their character and their excitement to perform this on the stage made me realize that I'd done it wrong. So it wasn't like a sense of, oh, I'm not good enough, I'm not this. It was that they had this affinitive and this appreciation for what they're about to do. And I just had this fear and stress of realizing that I'd done it wrong. That wasn't nice.
How did you feel after the showcase, after you performed your monologue and your duologue?
I really enjoyed my duologue. So that was fun. I hadn't mastered the art of networking. So going out and chatting to everyone afterwards was a write-off, to be honest. I didn't speak to anyone. After doing the monologue, I just kind of wished it had never happened. I didn't think I did a bad job, but I just knew that I hadn't done what this was for. Like, I hadn't done it right. Like, this whole opportunity we had, I'd just done it wrong. So, like, I feel like, you know, like when you do a test and you just write the answer down, but you don't do your workings out. That's what I'd done. I'd just got an answer and I went to do it, and then I realized that all the important working out stuff is what gets the answer right, not the answer. So I found a monologue I liked, I did it. I realized it was not the right monologue, it was not my casting. It wasn't the right sort of emotion. I should have, like, all these things I realized were wrong. And I could look back at it now and be like, oh no, it was good, it was a learning curve. Oh, it was I'd learned from doing it. It was good fun, look at the opportunity. But at the end of the day, the point of that showcase was to get in front of faces and do your best self. And I didn't do any of that.
That's very reflective.
Yeah, very reflective.
Yeah.
We're taking a quick pause from today's episode to talk about our collaborators for this season, Actor and their Pay What You Can scheme.
Actor have kindly given us a special Actors Actuality exclusive link for you guys to increase your chance of being selected for their Pay What You Can scheme. Whether you're looking for headshots, voice, song, or monologue reel, Actors Pay What You Can initiative means you'll get the same quality and care as a full price reel, but for a price that you can afford.
Of course, the Pay What You Can scheme is very popular, so by using our link, you'll be being referred by us, giving yourself an increased chance of being selected for the scheme, plus you'll be giving us a bit of a kickback, which always helps.
I actually got my first ever headshots with Actor back in 2021 when I was a young boy.
Oh, really?
Yeah. That's it, to be honest. That's all I have to say. Check out their link in the description. It's a great initiative.
Staying on like mentality and stuff, rejection is part of the job. How have you dealt with rejection and kept the resilience needed to be a working actor?
You're going to hate this answer, but fine.
Yeah.
We go into the industry and you know from first year that when you leave, you're just going to be getting rejected. Yeah, you think that you're the one that's going to make it. We all think that we're the ones that are going to make it. But we also know that we're going to get rejected along the way. So I've actually got quite a healthy mentality with the rejection, because I like to do something really well and work really, really hard on it. I don't like to do something really well. I like to work really hard on it so that I can do it as well as possible. And then once I've done it and sent it off, it's gone. I won't reflect on like the waiting for the response, because that's the worst part. Rejection is what we get all the time. So I've just got this, I quite enjoy it. Like, I don't mind being rejected. As a person as well, I can be a lot, right? So I'm very used to getting rejected socially. So it doesn't really bother me, to be honest. And that's really not helpful, I'm sorry. But I think what it is I've just normalized it so much. And that's where it's helped me. Like I've no, like, yeah, it's a normal thing. It's part of why we're doing it, is to learn from these rejections.
I think that makes sense though. It's like you say, you've kind of got to normalize it and view it as, I'm going to work really hard on this. I'm going to enjoy it because it's an opportunity to act. I'm going to enjoy this opportunity, you know, work hard and then send it and forget about it. And then I think it's just getting used to that pattern and that. And I think what's also tricky as well, just personally, is like the rejection is like, if you hear a no, that's quite a good thing, because then you can put it to bed and it's like, okay, I tried really hard, but this one wasn't for me. But it's that hearing nothing that, like, I think is tough. How have you dealt with that? Is that a similar thing where you kind of just, you're quite good at just sending it off and not thinking about it now, or Yeah. What?
I prefer hearing nothing to hearing a no.
Right. Okay. That's interesting.
Hearing a no it's nice to know that they've done the effort of getting back to you. And it's funny because we all ask for them just to get back to us and tell us we haven't got it. But because it is so normal for these auditions not to get back to us, then that's what I'm used to. So I'm never expecting the no email. I'm just always hoping for the yes email. So when I send things off, I'm not then waiting like, oh, what email's coming? What's going to happen? I then just enjoy the fact I've done it, had a lot of fun doing it, sent it off, and then just look forward to the next one. There's a John Krasinski. He said that every self-tape he did growing up, when it switched for him, when that mindset stopped, wasn't when it was when he started to treat every audition or every self-tape like he was doing it on the final night of this 3-year tour. That wasn't the exact quote, but that's basically what he said. So that now when I do an audition, I'm not doing it, obviously I'd like to get the job, but I'm not doing it in the hope for that yes email. I'm just doing it because, right, I've got this opportunity to act now, right? It's due in tomorrow, which means that this is my last night. It's my final night of the show. This is the last time I get to eat an ice cream for this advert, or whatever crazy thing they ask you to do. So just to enjoy it and make the most of it. And I'm lucky that I live with people I like as well. So it means I can actually have fun and take the mick out of it as well and take the stakes away almost and just do it and enjoy it.
Cool. Thank you.
That's great advice.
Yeah. 100%.
You've worked a lot in Fringe theatre since you graduated. What do you think the benefits are to working in this environment to aid your skills as an actor?
It's interesting because Fringe theatre it's a very mix of actors. It's some people just getting into it, some people who did it for a long time, left it, have worked a normal job for 15 years and then coming back to it. And then some people is recent graduates like yourself. So it's interesting because you're literally learning every form of acting from every direction of acting. The way that I think about acting, the way that I learned acting is the way that I kind of just think is right because that's what I know. And then I'm currently doing like a rehearsed reading for a Fringe with someone who did English and literature at uni, and she was just part of the drama club. But then she had an agent as soon as she left uni because she just went down these different avenues. Like the amount of monologues that she'd film and send off is crazy compared to what we'd do. Like we'd have a show reel and headshots and stuff. So it's very different. There's one lady that I did a scratch night with about a year ago, and she wrote a handwritten letter to an agency, like just saying a bit about her. And then they met her for a drink and asked her to do the acting stuff. So it's very interesting to hear how people get into it. But what I've learned, sorry, I sidetracked. What I've learned is honestly the importance of being humble as an actor, because everyone has learned so differently. It's recognizing that the way you're thinking about it and the way that you learn is not right. It's just the way that works for you. Yeah, there is such a beautiful thing about Fringe theatre because it brings so many people together. It's not everyone buying £50 tickets to watch a show in the West End and then going off to have dinner at the Ritz. You don't get paid for this stuff, or rarely get paid. So you spend money on travel. You then usually have to source your own props and costume. You then spend even more money on pints in the pub afterwards. But still, so many people do it because it's this art of bringing people together and bringing new writers in. And the difference in age group as well at Fringe theatres and Fringe venues is insane, because everyone is so intrigued by it, almost. And also the dynamics of Fringe is crazy. When I graduated, I did Alex Anstal. Actually, let me go back. When I graduated, I did this play called Last Goal Wins, which was on at the Vaults, and it was like one night only at the Vaults festival, which was their Fringe, and then it sold out that night, and then was given a second night, and then sold out that night. And then we stayed behind and we just spoke to these people, and they were just people who were walking past and saw that there was a show on. They wanted to chat. So we started chatting to them, and then the director had like gone off and done his thing. And then we ended up getting a place in the Lambeth Fringe. Now, I don't know if that was probably the director going off and doing his thing, but the people that we were chatting to had something to do with the Lambeth Fringe anyway. So it was like these random people stopped by, we just started chatting to them. They watched this show that was on, and all of a sudden we've now been given Theatre Peckham on the last night of Lambeth Fringe, which was the Lambeth Fringe main venue. That sold out, so they gave us a second night. So it just brings all these random but important or influential people together. Phalanx, for example, which was Alex Ansdall's play, was a Fringe, a small Fringe piece of theatre. Alex Ansdall then wrote a play for a scratch night, and the director of Phalanx, someone that he was friends with, then directed me in this scratch night. And then I met someone in this scratch night who then wrote a play for the next scratch night, who asked me to be in that. And with that last one, I'm now on this rehearsed reading I'm doing is the 4th iteration of this play from scratch nights, because it's just grown. So scratch nights are fantastic because they bring people together, and you meet so many people, and everyone is there for the love of the art. So it's such a supportive environment. That's it. It's such a supportive environment, is that everyone is there to help you and to make sure you're doing the best piece, and that the writing is being given the most amount of justice it deserves. And someone's got a show on before you, but then you need their cloth that they used over their table to cover you up. So by all means, they're going to let you use that cloth. Like, it's so supportive and encouraging, and it's such a community. I'm sorry, that's such a waffle.
No, that makes sense. That just sounds like a melting pot of creative people doing it because they love it, and like that's just so encouraging and just such a good thing to do. I think as a young actor to meet people, network, but also train your skills in a good environment, and a supportive environment. Sounds great. Our sort of final question is, if you had one short snippet of advice for a young actor entering the industry, what would that be?
Nothing is beneath you. There is no job too small, and there is no job too big. The Fringe being an example of it.
Haydn Watts, thank you very much for coming on the podcast. It's been a pleasure.
Thanks very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for listening to this episode of the Actors Actuality podcast. You can find all our important links in the description below,
such as Instagram, website, and the all-important affiliate pay-what-you-can actor link.